Hello, and thanks for joining us for today's Techie Tea Party. Hope you're all keeping well. Today is the first of 3 sessions looking at slides within Google. Today is really about how do we create slides, how do we use some of the tools and features within this, and then day 2 will be more about how does it look like when we're collaborating within some slides, and then day 3 is something a bit different, something a bit special, something a bit exciting. Um, so if you're already used to slides, you use them already, my advice would be use today to play with some of the features of it, create some resources that are of best use to you just now, and make use of Ailey being available to ask her any questions you have or any really niche tips and tricks that you have that you think might be really worthwhile for everyone else to be aware of. So, in terms of creating a new slide, the first way of doing it is coming onto our homepage, going up to the apps, scrolling down, and then choosing slides. When we click on this, it'll then give us the option of using a template. And if we need to see more, we can click on Template Gallery here, which will bring up more templates for us to use, or using a recent presentation that we've got down here. In general, today we'll be creating from blank. The second way of doing it is, again, coming up to the apps, scrolling down until you find your drive, which of course is your space for storage online. Choosing where you want to create this about. So I might choose a folder that all the students in my class have access to. So then I know that everyone will be able to see it. So I might come and choose Classroom. And then depending on the device you're using, it might be a right click here, it might be a double click or a bunny click. But we do that, and then we choose the option Google Slides, come along to the arrow, and then choose either, blank presentation or from a template. And that'll create it right there in the folder exactly where you want it. The third way I'd show, and for me the quickest, is coming up to your address bar and then type in slides.new. Press and enter, and this will just create a blank presentation ready for us to go. The first thing I always recommend when creating a new presentation is start by giving it a name. And then in the worst case scenario where something goes wrong, you'll still be able to access it. So I'm going to come up here and I'll name it video presentation. When I click off of it, you'll then notice that at the top we've now got 2 buttons, or what should be 2 buttons, there we go, have now popped up. The first one is move. So after I've created a slide, I use that to choose where by my drives this should be stored. So for this one, I'm going to have it in my classroom. So I click there and I choose move. So it'll now be moved from just being in the general My Drive section to being in that classroom space. Good for helping you be organized and know exactly where it is. In the bottom left there, if I click move again, you do also have the option to create a new folder. So this might be your first presentation within a unit of work. So you might want to create a folder for that unit where all your following PowerPoints or presentations even may go. The other thing we've got there is the option to click the star. And what that means is when we go back to our Google Drive, so my drive's still open at the top, I have a section on the left here called Starred. So when I click there, any document that I have starred is stored. So that's really useful if these are documents that are currently being worked on and adapted. So then you've got really quick, easy access to them. Once I'm completed, I can then untick the star option. When you start a new slide, it'll come up with themes that you may wish to select. And these are just really a starting point, and we'll see more about that in the next few days. If I like the look of one, I can click it and it'll then apply it to that slide. For the moment, I'm just now going to cross that off because we don't need to see it. So to add a title, all we do is click where it says to click, and I'll call this video presentation, and then wherever you want as your subtitle. Nice and straightforward. In terms of changing the look of this, you'll notice that we've got all these various options at the top. So if I highlight it, I can come to my color over here, and that looks like the color for our background. So instead of it being white, I could then choose to make that blue. For the font, the color is over here, so I can now choose to make that white if I want. It's currently bold. I can choose to make it not bold. I can choose to make it italics, underlined, change the font over here, all the things that you'll be used to and that you'll know already. That's how we can change it. If we click over here, we can change where the layout is, and we can also choose whereabout it appears in the box. So for instance, if I click up here, it'll move to the top of that box. So they're all very straightforward things that you probably already know how to do. Like I've said, if you're used to PowerPoint and you've used that on other systems, you'll know most of these tools and how they work. They translate quite well. So if I wanted to create a new slide, the way that I would do that is I would come up to this top left. If I click plus, what that'll do is it'll just create a blank slide with a title and a space to add text. If I click the little arrow beside it, it gives me a whole range of different layouts that I might want to use instead. So for instance, I might want to use the title in 2 columns if I'm comparing 2 things. So I can then go to my title, I can call this comparison, and then I've got the option to add things to here. If I want to just add text, I just start typing. Simple as that. But you may want to insert something else. So to put things into these slides, all we do is come up to the top and we choose insert. If I want an image, I hold along and it gives me the option to add these different things. So if I want to search from the web, for instance, I can click that, I can type video, and it'll pull up pictures I can use with videos. I then click on it, choose insert, and then that'll be added here on the slide. To change the size of it, all I do is drag it in from the corner, position it where I want it to go, and when I'm happy, I just let go. You can upload your own documents from your drive or images from your drive, from your computer, or whatever device you're using. I can go to insert, I can add audio and video. Audio is the same way. I need to have already pre-created this audio to then add it in. So I'd have to use some other software to do that, or the tools on my own device. If I click video, it goes straight to YouTube to begin with. So if I wanted to find a video about videos, I type in what I'm looking for. My advice would always be to make sure you've watched this before you've added it. I then click it and click select. One of the nice features within this is that we can then change what time the video starts at and when it ends. So within this video, only a small section might be really appropriate, so I can change that to be there and can make sure it starts at the right point. The other 2 options also play when presenting, so when I get to this point, this just starts playing. And I've also got the option to mute audio. So if this is just a visual stimulus, I might not need the audio to be there. Again, I'll cross that off so it's no longer in the way. This slide is getting quite busy now, so I'm going to create a new slide. So again, click in here and we'll choose a completely blank one. Again, up to insert, we can add shapes nice and easily. We can add a table. So however many cells you want, it's just done by dragging to the appropriate amount. So for this, if I wanted this, for instance, it'll pop up a table like that. If at any point you make a mistake with what you're doing, if you come up to the top left here, you've got the option to undo, or you can press Ctrl Z on your keyboard. You can then redo it by pressing the button to the side as well, or Ctrl and Y. So that's how we make tables. Again, if we go to insert, you've got the option of making charts. These can also be taken straight from sheets. So if you made a sheet in your OneDrive, you can get the chart straight from there. And then to edit these, you just be coming down to where it says edit in sheets to make it different. But I'll delete that for the moment. We've got the option of making diagrams. So when I click diagrams, different types of diagrams come to the side here. So if I'm maybe wanting to show it as a timeline, I'm wanting it to be the color, let's go with blue. And I scroll down to the one that I would like. We'll choose that. We just click on it. It's 4-date selected, and it's then just a case of clicking on what you want to edit and changing that there. And that's a nice, quick, easy way of getting a timeline or any other sort of chart or diagram ready. So let's make a new slide ready to put some other content in. If I go to insert, we've got word art. So to make things really stand out, we just type that in. If I cross off this timeline over here, you'll see that a whole bunch of different options will pop up, or should have popped up there, but normally pop up. Let's try that again and see if we can get this working. Insert word art. Well, we'll come to format options instead at the top here, and they pop up, so I can choose now to have it reflecting. I can choose to have a drop shadow. I might choose to change the font, and you can change all these different features, including changing the color over here. So that's the way of adding word art. We've also got the option to format our PowerPoint. If we go to our slides, even, we've got the option to change backgrounds on our slides, change transitions. So if we click on transitions, we can change our slide transition. So we can choose to make it cube, change the speed of that, apply it to all. You've also got object animations. So if I click on here, I can then click add an animation and can choose it to spin in. And then if I press play, you'll see that this is how it moves to it. And then when I click on it, it spins around. So you can add all these things that you'd normally find within PowerPoint, works the same with slides. When I'm happy and I want to present this